I'm here to talk about student agency to build the world. Service and mindfulness were two values that were integral to my upbringing. I grew up not so far away from here in a city called Bangalore, in a family that wasn't very religious, but there was one ritual we had. We went to an ashram every Sunday, and all we did was selfless service. So with those values, I came here and joined the academy 7 years ago as a grade 5 teacher, and that changed my life forever. Because we all know that the academy is synonymous to service and contributing to a better world. And since then, everything I chose to do, whether it was being a curriculum coordinator or a workshop leader or a consultant, or working pro bono for a social impact startup, or being back in the classroom as a classroom teacher since a couple of months ago, the only reason I've been doing all that, the only motivation, has been to create an impact. And today I stand here trying to create impact about creating impact. And while most of my ideas are addressing students, there are some hidden messages for adults who deal with students too. And that's teachers, pedagogical leaders, parents, pretty much all adults. So student agency to build the world. What is student agency? Student agency is nothing but an approach to teaching and learning where students own their learning. It is a paradigm that personalizes what and how students learn in a classroom. It is a value that's embedded in a school's culture and environment that gives students the freedom to make their choices and their decisions. It's evident in every classroom, in every teacher's practice. I have an example of my own classroom, even though it looks very chaotic. But I try to practice agency in my classroom, and my students will be able to vouch for that. So when you enter my classroom, you know, in a traditional classroom, you would see a teacher standing in the front of the class and delivering a lesson. Not in my class. In my class, the students decide what they want to learn. All I do is I let them know what are the big ideas we're trying to uncover, what are some of the ways they can inquire into them, but they make the choice. They make the choice about how they want to learn and what strategies they want to use. They make the choice about who they want to work with, although I talk to them about collaboration and working with different people, but they make the decision. They make the decision where they want to sit, if they want to listen to music. All the decisions are made by them. My role is to be a mentor. My role is to create a community of trust. And my role is to show patience, because definitely we all know that some children take longer to show that sense of responsibility. So yes, my role is that, but not to tell my students what they have to do. And there's several examples of that working. A good example is we are learning about beliefs and values in our class. And last week, one of my students came up to me and said, Miss Archana, I'm not religious because I don't like the religions that exist today. So I'm going to create my own religion. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, that is so cool. Do it. You know, you never know, the next Gautam Buddha would be sitting in my classroom and they wouldn't have come up with something creative as this if they didn't feel empowered to be creative and make a choice with agency. So how is student agency connected to building the world? Now, how many of you were born after 1995? Okay, so according to many sources, you guys belong to the latest generation, or the Generation Z, or the I generation. And there were millennials before that, and we had Generation Y before that, and the baby boomers before that, and every generation has some characteristics. Now, you are the new generation, and a lot of research is going into defining you all. But there's some things we know. We know that you all are digital natives. You don't even remember the time when internet didn't exist. You know, you were born with devices in your hands, with access to information. You're working, you're studying, you're learning with people from different cultures, so you're social, you're creative, not afraid to fail. But there's one significant point here. You're born in a time when the world is facing a lot of issues. Environmental issues, financial issues, leadership issues, emotional issues. You're surrounded by them. You're in it. You're living that life. So you're naturally tuned into them, and you're naturally tuned into being a change agent. No one needs to tell you, hey, do you want to change the world? You already want to do it. You were born with that virtue. But there is a slight problem. And the problem is that while you have that desire, that hasn't transferred to action yet. Let's test that assumption. How many of you want to change the world here? Pretty much everybody, right? We all want to contribute to a better world. How many of you feel that we are actually doing it? We are making a big impact. Not too many of us. Why? Look at this guy. Here's a photo I took in Italy when I was backpacking in Europe last year. And he was standing on a cliff waiting to jump into the ocean, and he did. What made him jump? What made him take the plunge? He was empowered. He knew how to swim. He had faith in himself, and he knew he's going to enjoy it when he's into the ocean. He had some tools that helped him take the plunge. Now, what tools can you have that you can exercise your agency and contribute to a better world? So what I have done is I've put together a list of tools that I think can help students build the world. The first one, build a better you. Always remember, even though you want to change the world is not your responsibility. The only person you're responsible for is you. So never stop learning, never stop growing, keep inspiring people, keep learning, and do it because you enjoy it, because you love it. You know, Osho says seriousness is an illness. So don't do it and be serious about it. Love it, enjoy it, and keep building yourself. Build the world, but first build a better you. And that will always help you in your journey. Know the why. And Simon Sinek talks a lot about the golden circle and the importance of why. Never forget why you're on this journey. So you might end up changing the how or the what, but if you stay with the why, you will always stay committed, and people will start believing in your beliefs. So know the why and remember the why. Tool 3, engage with the world. You all have devices in your hands. You're Instagramming, you're Facebooking, you're Twittering. Use that resource to learn about what's happening in the world. What issues are we facing? Are people coming up with some cool innovations? Maybe those ideas will help you construct your own meaning and come up with new solutions. So engage with the world. Flatten your classroom walls. Your classroom is actually global. You know, any person in any corner of the world can give you a new idea, can be a partner in your learning. So use that power that you have and engage with the world. Be a 21st century learner. Tool 4, focus on community and relationships. You know, there are apps today to make a new friend. There are apps today to find a date for the night. But there is no app that will help you build a relationship and build trust. So work on that, focus on that, because your community can be your partner in meeting your goals, in achieving your goals, so that you meet bigger, better objectives in life. So work on community building and focus on relationships and friendships. Tool 5. Be innovative. You know, the problems we face today cannot be solved by the thinking that existed when these problems were once created. We need you for fresh ideas. We need you to come up with new solutions. The world is literally depending on you right now. Because you know what is creativity? Creativity is nothing but connecting two unrelated elements and coming up with something new. So expose yourself to a diverse set of perspectives and ideas and come up with something new. Think big. You're one person with limited energy and limited time. Come up with solutions that can be implemented at scale. Come up with solutions that can impact a lot of people. Yes, it's easy to go to a school, maybe go for a dance class and do a reading lesson with them. But can you think of a solution that can impact many schools and that can be implemented in many cities, that can be replicated in different cultural contexts? So think big and learn to measure impact. How many people have I impacted? You know, so think big, think of solutions that can be implemented at scale. Manage time. Buddha said that the biggest mistake we do in life is we think we have time. We don't. Every day we are credited with 86,400 seconds. Now what we do with those seconds is up to us. We are the boss. We get to decide, we get to prioritize, we get to make an action plan. So never waste time, learn to manage it well. It is a cliche, but the time will never come back. It is the most important resource you have. So manage your time well. 2.8, inspire and stay inspired. Find people who can mentor you, who can guide you. All of us, with no exception, will go through a crisis. Find people who can inspire you during that crisis. Find ways to give heat to your passions. And once you feel that you have become a change agent, create more like you. So inspire others. We need more change agents to have a big impact. So inspire and stay inspired. To end this talk, I'm going to read a poem that I wrote for my students a few weeks ago, and they thought it'll be really cool if I read it to you today. So it's called It Was You, and it's really linked to student agency, building the world. There was hue and cry about that one teeny tiny thing we couldn't do. Mom whined, and Dad said, "Oh, what I'll do, I have no clue." All your friends were upset, and teachers were unimpressed. The jokes were not funny anymore, and the games weren't cool either. And the people on the news talked like there had been a total disaster. You know who saved us all? It was you, because you had an idea. You brushed it off at first, thinking it was too crazy and lame. What would friends think about you? What if it brought you shame? You thought of telling her, but she was too busy. And then you told him, but he thought you were just being silly. Not knowing what to do, you decided to ignore that beautiful idea. Luckily enough, you've met the one who said, your idea is so much fun. And then all you heard were words of praise and motivation. And then you felt like you were trusted with your innovation. You were helped and guided, but not controlled by a freak. There was care, there was patience, and you found all the answers you would seek. And then one day, the world was a different world, because your small, powerful idea now helped every him and her. There was laughter and joy forever, and there was good health too. You know who saved us all? It was you. It was you, and it was you. Thank you. Let's build the world.